This temple here is not very popular for some reason, so the huge crowds will not appear here, especially if you come here in the morning. So you'll get to experience the walk more or less alone, and yeah, maybe even alone, in an ancient temple, in a jungle environment. Pretty cool. Work being done to support structures, because you can see that it's falling down, and they need to try to hinder that from happening. You can see a large tree here. It's common in many of the temples. And sometimes they remove these trees to protect the structures. Other times they keep them. It's part of the atmosphere, what makes this place special. These trees and how the temples merge with the jungle. It's really cool to walk here on your own. I did see one tourist, but that's it. And you hear the sounds of the jungle. And then these ruins. Trying to imagine what it was like here in the past 800 years ago. All the people who lived here. Entire civilization gone. This here is one of the oldest temples in the area, from the 900s, built as a Hindu temple, before many of the temples were built as Buddhist temples. And I've understood that this place was used for funerals. They burned the bodies here. It's a pretty big one too. Guess I have to do it. Come all the way to Cambodia. I have to go to the top of these temples. And I have to show my ticket. This is me. That's me.
GoPro.
Oh yeah. So you're a YouTube star now. You're famous.
Last day. Thank you.
Last day maybe.
Apa?
Thank you, thank you. I did do some reading about the temple before I came here, but I've forgotten most of it. I think it's from the 12th century, and I know it's one of the temples not visited by too many tourists. Thankfully they build these things here to support the structure so it doesn't fall further apart. Thankfully outside the temples there's usually a lot of people selling you stuff, and cold drinks are always welcome. Not really looking to buy clothes, and some of the sellers can be quite aggressive. And that's not always fun. You want to help out and buy something, but I can't. I'm traveling, I can't buy lots of stuff. And this is a big one, an old one as well, from the 900s. You can see here that China is sponsoring the restoration of this temple and other temples in the area. A lot of money coming from China to Cambodia. It's a massive structure, and the story is that the building was hit by lightning during construction before it was finished, and that was seen as a very bad omen. And they did not finish the temple for that reason. They tried to get the demons out of the temple, but unsuccessfully. So, never really finished. Not a lot of carvings here on the temple. Well, I can't come all the way here and not go to the summit, so at least I'll get in shape after a couple of days here in this area. It's very steep. I have to be careful going down here. I'm sure they've had so many accidents here throughout the centuries. It's an old temple, but quality stones used later on. They didn't have access to those stones anymore, and so unfortunately the quality of some of the newer temples are not as good as the older ones, like this one. An old Hindu temple from the 900s. And the steps are in very good condition after 1100 years. It's incredible. Here it's even steeper. Extremely steep here. I'm not going to go down there. So I'll just go back. This here is the road to yet another temple. The driver took me here. I'm afraid I do not know what the name is, but it's the 5th temple of the day, so let's just call it the 5th temple. And it's a very small one. I do have some expert knowledge after being here for a few days and seeing several temples. I would think that this is a 12th century temple. So if this temple was built during the 12th century, and it probably was, the biggest city in Norway had like 5,000 people. And cities like London or Paris were tiny compared to Angkor City. I think London had like 20,000, maybe 30,000 people in the 12th century. And here in this city, 1 million. So, very powerful civilization here, the Khmer Empire. Having the resources to create so many temples. And it's just religious structures, temples that are still standing, because everything else, even the palace, was built in wood. So it's long gone. But the temples still stand. Yet another temple. Unknown name. Can't see any information here about what the name is, but I've chosen to call it the sixth temple. Solid rock. Strange. Here we have the incredible Bayon temple, one of the largest structures in Angkor City, built by the legendary king. I think his name was Yavarman or something like that, the seventh. Blue. Buddhist temple. And a major tourist attraction here in Angkor. After, of course, Angkor Wat, the most famous temple of them all. This is the elephant terrace. It's several hundred meters long, and it's the only thing remaining of the royal palace. Everything else here in Angkor are temples. Well, this was part of the royal palace. You can see an elephant here, and two people sitting on top of the elephant. And it's long, way long, over in that direction. A couple hundred meters. And this is where the king greeted his soldiers when they came back from war. Very successful battles being fought, and then they came back here. And this is the foundations of the royal palace. The palace was built in wood, so it's gone, but the foundations are still here. There's carvings everywhere. Here. Even in the ceiling, I'm told. I can't imagine how many hours he spent doing this. If we look to our right, incredible carvings of a battle fought in the past. All the way.
Yeah, so you write on Hanuman, and this Lakshmana. Yeah, Rama and Lakshmana, and who is he? Look at him, Vishnu. No, who stayed with them? Look at his face, not human. Buddha. Yeah, Vibhisana. Vibhisana. Yeah, Rama, Vishnu Avatar. Okay, Vishnu Avatar.
This is where we came from, and here's another hole we can walk down. Pretty big, and of course, same kind of carvings. Yeah, we can keep on going. Never ends, never ends.
Nè, tao su có tiểu cha mẹ.
Không con sẽ lăn luôn anh.
Đang hồn ai.
Yay, good, good. Ta can nói sớm nó nóng đi chị ấy. Cho mắt. Tích à.
Quay chặn nào vậy?
Chưa tôi van rồi.